What is up, everybody? My name is Jayvious Johnson, and welcome to the Dad Lab. This is the podcast where dads, future dads, and wannabe dads come together and share family stories, life lessons through fatherhood, and of course, other dad things. Now, before we get into today's episode, first of all, I want to say good morning. I am recording in the morning right now. Of course, some of you parents know you gotta just get stuff in when you can get it in, and the morning is the best time to get it in. Whatever context you want to use, just make sure, it's legal, like I said in my first podcast. But I am recording in the morning, so for all you morning commutes, for all you people who are commuting to work in the morning, I just want to say good morning. Hope you're having a great day. Hope you got your coffee or energy drink. I suggest you stay away from those, heavy energy drinks. But good morning. Hope you have, you kick off the day the right way by listening to the podcast. No, I'm just kidding. But whatever that routine is, hope you're having a great morning thus far. I also want to say thank you to everyone who has been listening and watching. This is episode 5. I'm honestly surprised. Actually, I'm not going to say surprised. I'm actually proud of myself that we made it to episode 5. Because I had a bad habit of, being on fire for something. Being excited for something that I wanted to create and start. And as soon as I get it out of my head, I go do it one time, do it a second time, a third time. And then I start losing motivation. And I'm just like, I'll move on to something else. Right? I got a lot of ideas in my head. I'm very creative. And that can be a downfall if you don't know how to harness it and stay disciplined even when you're not motivated. But I'm glad we made it to episode 5. We're going to keep it going. We're going to keep this train moving. But again, I want to say thank you to you guys who have been following along this journey. Also, before we get started, I want to, if there's other ways you guys want to follow me, follow my journey, see what else I do besides podcasting, you guys can follow me at Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok. I still can't believe I'm saying that because for the longest time I said I'd never make a TikTok. I thought it was stupid. But, yeah, here we are. And of course YouTube. If you're listening to this, I also have a YouTube channel that you can go back and watch this. But my YouTube channel is called I Am Jayvious. Instagram is at Jayvious Johnson 14. Twitter at I Am Jayvious. And TikTok at I Am Jayvious as well. For the Twitter, it's I Am Jayvious, all caps. I don't know if that matters or not, but yeah. Yeah, you got definitely go check out my Twitter because I think I have one follower, but I haven't really promoted it. But I tweet some pretty cool stuff on there. I tweet a lot about movies on there. Yeah. In case you guys didn't know, I'm really into movies. Speaking of movies, did you guys see that new Thor trailer? Oh, I don't know how I feel about it. So, it was rumored that Thor would be coming out in July, but we have not gotten a trailer this whole year, and that typically means bad. If a movie doesn't release a trailer until April, May, June, July, that's 3 months before the movie, a big movie, and they just now released the trailer. I don't know, y'all. This might be a Thor Dark World part 2. But yeah, I watched the trailer, and I didn't know what was going on. I thought it was just me. I didn't know what was going on, so I'm like, So I go, to social media, see what other people are saying about it, and everyone's saying the same thing, it's all over the place. So yeah. But it looks like a really fun movie. The Guardians of the Galaxy, they're in it. Yeah, but that's about it. I know a lot of people didn't like Ragnarok, the newest one that came out before the one that's coming out now. But I liked it. It was fun. It was all over the place as well. But this just looks I don't know. Maybe it's the reason that they didn't release the trailer because they don't even know what's going on. They're like, man, we just gotta put out something. But yeah, that's one thing. I think that trailer came out Saturday. Oh yeah, Easter. How was everyone's Easter? Was it good? Resurrection Sunday. Hashtag he's risen. I'm just playing. No, I'm not playing because he did rise, but yeah. I had a really good Easter. It was really hot here in Texas. We visited a new church. We got to spend a lot of time with the family. Got to play video game with my siblings. That was honestly one of the highlights of my week. Was playing the game with my siblings. Like, growing up, okay, older siblings, specifically older brothers, did you guys ever like to play video games with your younger siblings, like when they were like little kids? Because I didn't. I cannot stand teaching people how to play a game while we're trying to play it. Like, that is the most annoying thing in the world to me. So, like, I don't know. Growing up, that wasn't like my favorite thing to do with my siblings, but now that they're older and they know how to push a button without completely stopping to look at the controller, you know, it's a little bit more fun. But yeah, that was probably one of the highlights of my week because, you know, we all got to bond over that. And I have a lot of siblings, so like it's hard to get us all to do one thing that we all like to do. But yeah, that was fun. Me, my wife, and Luna, we took our first family photo. And we surprisingly haven't taken like a legit family photo yet, but we're gonna be doing a photo shoot soon, so I'm just waiting on this haircut. Y'all know you cannot do a photo shoot without a fresh haircut, right? That's why I'm wearing a hat right now, because I didn't feel like messing with my hair. It's early in the morning, but yeah. So yeah, I hope you guys' weekend was good. Also, NBA playoffs started. Yes, sir. Last night the Warriors obliterated the Nuggets. Like, it was bad. It was bad. It was like watching varsity versus JV. It was not fair. But yeah, let me know if you're watching this on YouTube. Let me know in the comments who you guys think's taking it off. If I would have to say, it's kind of hard to tell this year, to be honest, but if we're going based off of what we've seen in the regular season and the completeness of the teams, I'm going to have to go with the Suns, but like, then you got to say that, you know, the Suns will beat the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals. They beat, you know, the winner between not the Nuggets, but the Grizzlies and the Timberwolves. I think those two teams are those are some scrappy teams that's not going to be easy to beat. Who else is in there? Yeah, that's about it. I mean, I guess you got who's in second? Who's in second place in the West? Why can I not think who's in second place? Oh wait, it's the Nuggets, or not the Nuggets, but the Grizzlies. Well, anyway, the West is hard to tell, but out of the East, I think it's still Milwaukee. But the Heat look nice too. I'm not a believer in the 76ers yet, or anymore. Just the way, I don't know, James Harden got to show up. But anyway, it was a good weekend. It was a really good weekend. But yes, so let's get into the first thing of the morning. Top of the morning, as Jeremiah would always say. Shout out to Jeremiah. He used to always say that, and I used to why. But so I just finished this book called Atomic Habits by James Clear, and that was book number 2 of the year. And it was a really good book. I'm planning on doing like a blog, a more in-detail blog on the book. Yes, I'm vlogging, but I haven't like promoted it yet, but I'm going to. I made like a little blogging website, but yeah, it's a really good book. I took a lot of stuff out of it that I can apply to my life. I can already see changes from me applying these things. But I want to talk about a little bit of things that I pulled out of the book. Which one do I want to start with? I got a couple. Where are my little note cards? But I want to start with the 3 layers of behavior change. And for the listeners, viewers, you guys can kind of see this. Ignore my handwriting. So there's 3 circles, right? And one is inside the other, and the last one is inside the other one. I don't know if that makes sense. Just think of a target. Yeah, think of the target logo. And in the middle, or let's start from the outside. From the outside, there's outcome. The middle is processes, and the core is identity. And I think this is a cool visual because a lot of us, when we think of, changing our behavior, changing our habits, we start from the outcome, right? We start from, I have to start doing this, and then I'll start to change. I gotta start going to the gym, and then I'll change. When really, we should start from us, right? Start from the inside. Start from what prevents us from going to the gym. That's not physical, like the things that prevent us that are inside. What stops us from waking up in the morning? What stops us from eating healthier? What stops us from getting a relationship with God, right? We always start with the things on the outside, further from the problem than the things on the inside. And this is such a cool visual to me because I never looked at it that way. And when you look at it that way, it makes you take full responsibility over the things that are happening into your life. Now, of course, there are some things that are out of your control, but those are the things that you shouldn't worry about. But for me, it made me take full responsibility for, the flaws that I have. It's easy to blame other things. When you do something wrong, it's easy to say, well, I didn't do this because of that. Like, I remember I just made an excuse. Actually, am I really gonna bust myself out? Yes, I am. Whatever. I don't care. But okay, so last week, again, I forgot to say sorry about this. I did not record an episode last week. Sorry. But yeah. So basically what happened was I wasn't able to record until late at night. I could record it in the day, but it would have been too loud. It's too much going on. I live with a lot of people, so. But yeah, I was making these excuses. Well, they weren't excuses; they were legit things. But like, really deep down, I just didn't feel like going out of my actual schedule to record an episode. And those things being in the way were just like, it was convenient for me to just be like, not this week, right? And that's why I'm recording in the morning right now, because I knew I'd try to make that same excuse. So I'm like, okay, how can I defeat myself? Because essentially you're really just trying to, defeat the negative thoughts or the negative pathway that your, head's trying to go down. So I'm going to record early in the morning. That way I don't have any excuse. And I really didn't. Like, there's no noise. I'm up early. Nothing's in the way. So, yeah, basically, it made me look at myself and think, okay, you are responsible, basically, right? When you start from the middle of this, graphic, you start from the middle, and then you go from the outside, things start to change, right? So I just use going to the gym, for example. If you say you have this plan, you want to go to the gym, but you know that you have a hard time staying disciplined, you have a hard time being a man or woman of your word, start with that. Start with, how can I become more disciplined? How can I, become a man or woman of my word? And from you doing that, automatically you're going to start going to the gym, right? Because you're doing what you said you were going to do. And I just thought that was a really cool thing to pull from the book. I also have this quote from the book, and it says they never shift the way that they look at themselves, and they don't realize that their old identity can sabotage their new plans of change. And I thought that was big as well, because I know there's other people that struggle with this, but I had this bad thing of telling myself that I won't be able to do something, I won't be able to commit to something because the old me wasn't able to do it and wasn't able to commit to it. And if you think about it, it's kind of ridiculous, because that's like thinking to yourself that you can't grow. But yeah, like even with this book situation, and I'll get to that next, but even with the book situation, like there's been many times where, growing up, my mom and dad, they're readers. But growing up, they used to always tell me, you need to read more, you need to read more, you need to read more. And I knew I need to read more. I knew the benefits of reading more. But because, like, every year I'd say, okay, this year I'm going to read 5 books. This year I'm going to read 12 books. This year I'm going to read 30 books. And I did this year after year after year. And in my head, I built up this image that, oh, you're the type of person that says you're going to do something, but you're not going to do it. And even if I wanted to read those, select number of books, I couldn't, because my old identity was sabotaging the new me, the person who I wanted to be. And that changed when I shifted the way I looked at myself. When I separated, okay, that was the old you, that was your old habits, now you're on to this, right? And of course, being a dad definitely helped that, right? But I don't know, I thought that was pretty cool. I think that can help somebody else out. Let me know if it does. The next thing that I have, which one do I want to go with? I'll start with this one. So, this is actually the title of chapter 6 in the book. And it's called Motivation is Overrated, Environment Often Matters More. Now, this is another thing that plays a huge factor when you are trying to change, your bad habits or change flaws that you have, is your environment. It also plays a huge factor. If you're around a bunch of people who don't care about life, a bunch of people who don't want anything out of life, turns out you're going to start thinking the same way as them, and you're going to start acting the same way as them. That's just who we are as humans. We're gonna be like the people around us, right? Because we have this desire to, belong. And that's one of the best things that you can do if you just feel like you're stuck in this rut and you can't get out of this thinking. Because I truly believe a lot of people want to do good. A lot of people want to do better. But I think that the enemy has a lot of people in this loop, this invisible loop, that they don't even know where to start. They don't even know what the problem is. They don't even know what's, holding them back. And sometimes that could be the environment you're in. And another thing, when you're in an environment that you've been in a long time, that also reminds you of who you used to be or who you're trying to change. It reminds you of it, right? Whether that's people, whether that's a location where you used to do something, or whatever it is, the environment can also remind you of it. So, yeah, you could be motivated and everything, but what about your environment? What about the people, the community that you surround yourself with? That plays a huge factor. So if you want to be somebody who is a gym goer, a gym rat, always going to the gym, surround yourself with people who like fitness. If you want to eat better, if you want to eat more, surround yourself with chefs. I mean, I don't even think that's possible. Surrounding yourself with chefs. There's not a lot of chefs in the world, and if there are, like, where do you find them? Like, I've only known one chef, actually 2. One of them was one of my neighbors. Well, he wasn't my neighbor, but he lived in my neighborhood. But anyway, go surround yourself with chefs. But If you want to get to know God more, surround yourself with Christians. Go to a church, find a community, right? If you want to change who you are and you want to get out of those bad habits, look at your environment, and that will tell you, that'll tell you a lot. It really will. It'll tell you a lot. And the last thing, before I get into the last thing, I'm going to take a little body armor break. Also, another plus side about doing the podcast in the morning, of course, I'm doing it in the closet. You guys know that. It's not as hot in here. Like, when I do it at night, it is so hot. Like, I get uncomfortable. Like, and it makes me, like, rush my words because I'm, like, trying to get out of here. But, yeah, it's actually cooler in here, so that's another plus thing. But, this is another quote that I pulled from the book, and it says, "The most practical way to change who you are is to change what you do. Decide the type of person you want to be and prove it to yourself in small wins." And honestly, that's a good segue into the next thing that I want to go into. So, if you guys follow me on social media, I kind of gave a little snippet of this, but I want to talk about the importance of celebrating small wins and getting small wins. And that quote is a good segue into that. But as we get into this topic of small wins, I want to start off with a track experience that I had. So some of you guys know that I used to run track. I was decent at it, I guess. And I remember one of my first meets. It's when I first started running for the Illinois Jets. Shout out to Coach Jones. Shout out to Patrick, Farrah, Patrice. Great track family. Great track coach. Miss Jones, can't forget you either. I remember one time Miss Jones snapped at me because what did I call her? I think I called her by her first name or something. Yeah, I called her Monique. She's like, "Oh, it's Miss Jones." Anyway, that's beyond. But anyway, yeah, I remember my first indoor track meet, and it was the 400-meter dash. And you track runners know the 400 is nothing to be played with when you first start running track. It is brutal when you first start running. And, we're in the blocks. I don't really know what to expect. But the starter, runners to your mark, set, go, pow. And we get off, and I'm running against some giants. Like, this was like, what was it, my 8th grade year? It was 8th grade. And the people I was running against looked way older than me. They were my age, but, like, it was really that I just looked really young and scrawny. They look way older than me. I'm like, am I running against grown men? Is this the right age group? But, yep, we get off. First lap we come around the first lap, and everybody just takes off, right? And I'm getting left in the dust. And keep in mind, my mom and a couple of family friends are watching too, and I'm just like, this is not good. And they're just taking off on me. We get around the back stretch on the last lap, and I see this tall guy, right? This is a runner. I see this tall guy, and he's, like, off in the distance. Oh, yeah, keep in mind, I'm in last place. And there's absolutely no way I'm going to be able to catch up to the person in first place. So in my head, I'm thinking, like, this race is over with. There's no way I can catch up. There's no way I can redeem myself. This is an L, right? This is an L. I'm thinking to myself, this is definitely an L. But I see somebody. And as we're coming off the last curb, I'm like, I'm going to try to catch him. Even though I'm in last place, I got to get a small W, right? I cannot go home. I cannot go up to my mom with an L like this. I cannot. So I'm like, all right, Jayvious, you're in last place. You're probably going to be in last place, but let's try to catch that guy. So we come off the last curb, and I start to turn on the jets. I start to just unload the gas tank, everything I got. And we're on the back stretch, and I'm slowly catching him, and right before he passed the finish line, I pass him, right? Now, this is no big thing. This is no big thing at all, right? Out of, I think it was 8 people, I got 7th place. 7th place, right? But I didn't get last. But I got 7th place, right? That 7th place, that small win, was very impactful to me, right? That was my first indoor race, and for most people, you think like, well, how was that impactful, right? You didn't do anything, you got burnt. What it showed me is that I have something left in the tank, right? I'm not somebody who's just gonna roll over and just let people run over me. I'm not somebody who's gonna accept a L. And that's just from getting a small W. A small W, right? That little small W did so much for me in my life. It gave me a confidence that I was able to train harder. I started looking at myself differently, and before I know it, I became faster. I became more athletic. I became, one of the best runners in the conference. Then I became a conference champ. I, became one of the best runners in Illinois. Then I became, top 10 hurdler in Illinois. Then to the Junior Olympics, just from that small little W. That small W, right? And I bring that up because a lot of us, we think, oh, I'm in last place. This is an L. I'm going to accept this. When really we should be like, okay, how can I get a small W to gain momentum? Like, I remember watching, what was it? What game was that? It was last night. I can't remember who was playing, but basically a team was just blowing. It wasn't the Warriors and Nuggets, but a team was just blowing the other team out. And I heard one of the commentators say something along the lines of, put these younger guys in and let them, even though the game is out of reach, let them get some confidence. Let them leave with, basically a small W for the next game, right? Because those small W's, what happens is when you get small W's, those small W's compounds, they build up, right? It's like a little river stream, right? If you put one rock down, it's not going to make a big of a difference. But if you keep placing rocks down, what's going to happen? It's going to clog up that whole stream. And a lot of people don't see the importance of small W's, right? Because we think people are looking at us like, why are you celebrating that, right? Looking back at it, I'm sure a lot of people didn't think anything of me getting 7th place, right? Like, I wouldn't if I saw it. But it's so important in times like that to take your small W's. It's important to celebrate them. I remember going up the stairs, walking up to my mom, I'm like barely breathing. And my mom celebrated me. She was happy that I didn't just, accept me being so far away from the competition. I was like, I'm going to stride by stride try to catch him. And my mom celebrated my small W. She probably celebrated more than I did because I was still kind of upset. But I say all that to say, like, you got to get those small W's. And there are people that are going to look at you like, like you're silly. Like, it doesn't matter. And it's also important to not listen to those people, right? Listen to those people who are, you know what, Jay? You definitely got 7th place. You definitely got burnt. But you learned something from this. That's a small W. And another thing is me reading books. Like, I'm on book number 3, and I kind of talked about this on social media, but I'm on book number 3, and I planned on, well, I didn't plan on, but I was just sitting outside, and I was like, I should make a little motivational video. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. So I stood up, and then I was like, nah, people are gonna think that's stupid, right? I've only read 3 books. And I sat back down, And, the sun's going down a little bit. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, Jayvious, you're really about to go inside when you planned on making a video. But you're not going to, because you think people are going to think your small W is stupid. You think people are going to make fun of your small W. And I knew I wasn't going to be able to sleep on that. So I was like, oh, dang it. So I got up and I hit record. And I started explaining to you guys that I read 3 books. And I explained this in the video, but for you listeners and for you guys who haven't seen the video, after I read my first book, this book called Chasing Failure by Ryan Leake. I read the first one, and I was, on fire about it. I was, motivated, like, oh man, I just read a book, blah, 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 all this stuff. And then I'm just like, the old me kicked in, and I was just like, I ain't gonna be able to read another one. Not that I'm not capable of it, but I didn't feel like I was capable of sticking to my word. I didn't feel like I was capable of being disciplined. So I stopped reading. I'm like, there's no way I'm not gonna be able to read another book. Like, I'm not gonna be able to focus. I'm not gonna be able to, stay committed to it. So I just gave up before it even, and then a couple months went by, and I moved here. I got out of the environment that I was in, and I was like, no, that is not me. Like, I'm just not that. I'm not the person who I think I am in my head, my negative thoughts. Like, I'm not that type of person to, just give up. I'm not the type of person to not be disciplined, to not be consistent. But I knew in order for me to reverse that mindset, my old mindset, I had to prove it to myself in small wins. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just order another book on Amazon, and maybe that'll force me. Spending money might force me to read a book. And the book came in, and I started reading it, and I got halfway through, and I'm like, wow, I'm doing it again. I'm replicating what I did. And I finished the book. I'm like, wow, I just finished 2 books. So then I started my 3rd book. My 3rd book was a lot harder. It was boring. I'm going to do a little book review on that as well, but I shouldn't say it's boring, but I feel like it wasn't fully for me at this time. It's more it's more for like the corporate world. But anyway, I finished book number 3, and I was so proud of myself because I told myself in the beginning of the year, there's no way you're going to be able to do that. And I've been able to override those thoughts with little small wins, just like I was able to override those thoughts when my first track meet, when everybody burnt me. I'm like, there's no way you're going to be able to catch up to them, right? But I proved it to myself with one small stride at a time. You can catch at least one of them, right? You can get that small W. And I've been doing that with reading as well. And not just reading, but it's been overflowing to everywhere in my life. So I say all that because I know there's somebody who is just stuck, right? It's just stuck. And the way that you're going to get out of that place that you're in, of course, I can say, get a relationship with God, because that is the most important thing. Like, I cannot say that enough. That is the most important thing. But through having a relationship with God, He gives you resources, right? And one of the resources He's given me is reading books. But one thing you can do is get small W's. Get small W's. I keep going to the gym because, I love the gym. But anyway, if you want to pack on muscle, do 10 push-ups, right? You don't got to do this full workout routine, pack on all this protein. You should do all that, but start with a small W, right? And it will build up. It will slowly build up to where it's solidified, and that's who you are. Right. And I know that there's somebody listening, watching this, that is in that same place, and I want you to get out of it. So get those small W's. Get them. Go after them. And that basically brings us to the close of the episode. This is a pretty good conversation. I feel like I was just talking to somebody, but, I guess time will tell. Time will tell. But you guys know the drill. I got to leave you guys with a quick little quick little outro, something that you guys can bring with you, take with you to work, to school, to church, to your friend's house, whatever. And it's a quote from the next book number 4 that I started, from the 5 a.m. Club, and it says, "Don't let the pain of your imperfect past hinder the glory of your fabulous future." Don't let the pain of your imperfect past hinder the glory of your fabulous future. I thought that was so big because a lot of people, we go through these experiences. We experience pain, disappointment, whatever it is, and we completely allow that to hinder us in the future. I am a person that used to do that, right? We, had a friendship or whatever, and we get hurt, disappointed, whatever, and then we don't want friends no more, right? And we miss out on so much in the future, so much ahead of us, because we allow those old things. Like, it's what I was saying earlier, right? My old self always telling me, like, you're not capable of that. You can't do that. You remember you did this in front of everybody. Now that's who you are. And you do that, you're not allowed to grow. You're not allowed to grow. You don't allow yourself to grow because you're holding on to something that is preventing that, right? And some of us can be stuck in that for a very, very, very long time, right? So my advice to you guys is I'm not saying that the things that you guys experience is irrelevant. What I'm saying is you need to forgive, and you need to also allow yourself to move forward, right? Sometimes we can allow ourselves to become slave to pain, fear, anxiety, all that stuff. Forgive, and then allow yourself, right, to have the freedom to grow, to have the freedom to be who you are, right? Sometimes it's up here. I'm not saying it's always up there, but most of the time it's up there. So look at yourself in the mirror and be like, I am giving you the permission to grow. I'm giving you the permission to move forward, and let yourself move forward, and do it with small W's. Do it with small W's. But yeah, that is the episode number 5. I want to thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for following along my journey. I've been really, really growing through this podcast, growing through the things that have come along with this podcast. I'd love to hear you guys' feedback, because I don't do this for me, right? I don't just, record these podcasts or read these books and, all this stuff for me. I do it for other people because I love people. But yeah, let me know you guys' feedback. Let me know if, anything that you guys have taken from the episode has impacted your lives. Have a great morning. Be great today. Don't let your past, the pain in your past, hinder the great things that God has for you in the future. Tell somebody you love them. And again, this is Jayvious Johnson, and thank you guys for listening and watching.